Welcome to part 2 of our 10 easy actions to take tomorrow to make you a better Christian school leader. Today, numbers 11 through 20.
This episode of the Christian Principles Podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. And as always, the thoughts and opinions expressed within this episode are those of your host and not necessarily the Herzog Foundation. Welcome to the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm Matt George.
I'm Mark Zockoll. Today, we get to go through numbers 11 through 20 of our 30 actionable items that an administrator can take tomorrow. And for some of you, it really is tomorrow, sadly. Others of you, it's a little bit later. But things you can take as soon as you're back in your office to make you a better Christian school leader. We're not going to spend a lot of time in introduction today. I'm going to say to you, though, please go back and listen to the first 10 of these. That was a wonderful episode. I appreciated that so much. We walked away from that episode saying, hey, that was fun. That went well. This was great. So perhaps you hearing us today go through 11 through 20 would make you want to go back and hear 1 through 10 again. We may at some point on the pod today read through 1 through 10. So you'll have 1 through 20, even if you only listen to today's, but we're not going to go into it in detail. And you also won't hear us talk about some of them and talk about how Matt is a bad principal because he doesn't do some of these things right now, unless you go back and hear episode, which would be episode 229 for us. This is our 230th episode. Before we keep going, though, we'll hear from the Herzog Foundation and GradeLink Student Information Systems, our partners in this venture.
This episode is brought to you by our partners at the Herzog Foundation, whose mission aligns beautifully with ours to advance and support Christ-centered education. The Herzog Foundation exists to catalyze excellence in Christian schools, helping more children experience academic rigor, biblical truth, and strong moral character, all in a safe and nurturing environment. Whether through teacher training, principal development, or strategic media efforts, the Herzog Foundation is committed to helping you, the Christian school leader, fulfill your calling with excellence. Their vision is bold but clear, a national renaissance in Christian education that impacts culture for generations. At the Christian Principles Podcast, we're proud to stand with the Herzog Foundation in that mission. Learn more at herzogfoundation.com. Together, we're building schools and futures on the rock of Christ. And as always, tell them that the fellas here at the Christian Principles Podcast sent you their way.
You know, as a host, I actually use GradeLink myself, and I can't recommend it enough. It's been a huge help in keeping things organized and making sure our school's administration runs smoothly. So, if you're part of a school that needs a reliable system, head over to cpp.gradelink.com and see what they can do for you.
All right, Matt, you ready to go? I don't even care if you're ready to go.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Let's make it happen. Number 11. The number 11 easy action to take tomorrow to make you a better Christian school leader at that moment, not somewhere far off. This is not history and philosophy of education. This is just do this and be better. Number 11, get a nice toolkit that stays in your office only. Now, Matt, I'm preaching to the choir here. Tell us about that Steeler colored toolkit you got going on.
Oh, man. I think maybe after 6-7 years of being an administrator, always saying, does anybody have a hammer? Does anybody have a drill? Does anybody have a screwdriver? It's like, you know what? No, I don't. I'm done asking people for this.
I'm done.
And also, I would say it's really important that this is a your toolkit. This isn't like a ministry toolkit. This is a your toolkit, so that you can say, hey, you're going to come borrow this. This is where it comes back. Because we know those staplers like to walk off. Well, let me tell you, as soon as you get a brand new drill in the building, people know about it. And so they'll come asking.
I am positive that no matter the size of the school, we could be talking to Chris Hobbs down at his, several thousand Indian Rocks Christian School. We could be talking to our friends who are the ACE school leaders who have a smaller setting with much they're overseeing more. It doesn't matter who you are in that range. People come to you and ask you for stuff. It's just what happens, man. They come to you and they ask you for stuff. So I'm saying in this, get yourself a nice toolkit, make it a nice one. Don't go super cheap on this. You can get some nicer toolkits for, that won't break on you the first time you use them. Go ahead and put some money in it. Put some school money in this so you have it because you're going to need it. Others will come after you for it.
Yeah, we could say, and I know what the next one is too. And you're kind of related, but you could be that type of person that also gets like you have the cheap kit and then you have the really good kit. And if people come and ask, you're giving them the cheap kit rather
That's
than the
true.
good.
That's true.
But I will say, both my youth pastor and I had one of those cheap kits that we just kept in our office. That's what we had. And both of us, in very close proximity to each other, just broke the heads off of the hammers of both of our toolkits. So it's like, yeah, it's cheap because it's cheap.
Cheap because it's cheap. You mentioned the second one's close unto this. Yes, it is. Get a ball pump that stays in your office only. Now, this one, I do understand if you're from a massive school, perhaps when they come into the office, the student, whoever it is, looking to pump up the balls, or you have a PE teacher or a recess leader who this is part of their job description. This is one of those awesome things you could delegate from our first 1 through 10 episode. But much the same as a toolkit, in some of our schools, the office needs a ball pump. And so if it stays in your office, and I mean your office, not even just the general office, it's probably a good thing. So that's number 12 for you.
Yeah, similar to what we were saying about also being the one who provides supplies. There are going to be random people, not just the athletic individuals that just show up to the office. But do we have a ball pump by any chance? And it's really great to say, yeah, come on in. I'll get it for you. Now I will say when it comes to ball pumps, one of the things my brother-in-law did up the game a little bit from me is you might also want a little bit of a bulk of those inflatable needles
Yes,
because
the needles.
those things, they break and
Mhm,
they disappear, which makes your pump rather useless. So get an extra stash of needles that you, that sounds great. Get an extra stash.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
But,
wonderful thing for you to hold.
but for ball pumps, if they require needles, but and I like to also have kind of a variety of pumps. Like now, I am a basketball coach as well, so I have one that I'm going to use, but then I have the ones that are available for those that just kind of like I was saying with the toolkit. You got your cheapos, and then you got your not so cheapos to help get the job done right and quickly. So think through that.
Love it. Number 13. This is one that won't necessarily make you bigger, faster, stronger personally. It will ultimately, but it's going to help your school and something that you can do right now to make your school better. Disguise your voice, call into your school. See what the experience is like. Everything from what is your voicemail set up right now to does the music that plays when someone's on hold actually music that our school is cool with? Or that we want, can we get a better song out there? Everything from that to see if you can even, I hate saying this, but try to press the issue with somebody. Try to get your admin assistant or your financier or whoever it happens to be, try to get them heated. See what it takes. Promise them lunch afterwards and reveal yourself. But call into your school disguising your voice, use a Google number or something, and see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, make sure if you don't have caller ID, that you are using perhaps somebody else's phone or another number. Another thing you can do is if you're with somebody that's maybe not, working at the school, that the school's not as familiar with, you could use them as well to just be with them as they call. When it comes to the voicemail and everything else, you do take the time to just review those things. So that is definitely a good practice that I think will often be something that I know for me is just never thought about.
Well, it's not never thought. Not only is it not thought about, and by the way, number 14, double check your voicemail recording to be sure it's all up to date, and not just yours. But when we lose people throughout the year, if your MO in your office is what I get so often, and let me give you a short description here. For the Maryland Association of Christian Schools, I will go and recruit other Christian schools to join our association. Effectively, I spend a good amount of time cold calling or cold emailing. Maybe I have a representative from the membership that knows the school or whatnot. Maybe I've met them somewhere, but often it's just a cold call. Most often in a office setting today, The administrative assistant will hear that cold call. As soon as I say, "Can I speak with so and so?" they'll say, "Not available. Can I get you to their voicemail?" Those voicemails rarely are the right name, are audible, are able to be heard, or can I even leave a message on because the voicemails are the number of voicemails in this inbox is limited, or it can't receive any more voicemails. Goodbye. That happens more often than it doesn't when it comes to voicemails. So double check your voicemail recording to make sure it's all up to date. Matt, anything else to say about that?
Yeah, I'd also say if you give out your personal voicemail or your personal phone, also make sure it's that way. And on that note, I got some beef with you and with my wife when it comes to this because
Mm.
when when I call and I get your voicemail, which isn't often, you probably get mine a whole lot more than I get yours. But the very first thing that I hear is, "Hey, you have reached Mark Zockoll. You have reached Jenny George." And in my mind, and most of the time, out of my mouth comes, "No, I haven't, or I wouldn't be talking to you."
Right.
So,
You're right. Lived reality is different than what I expect it to be. I hear you. I'll work on that at some point when I get the chance. Maybe when I get in my office and I read through this list and listen to the episode. All right, number 15. Develop a thank you postcard. Notice a thank you postcard on Canva branded with your school name or your logo or your school motto. Previously on Canva, I have opened up a postcard document. For the front, I've simply placed the logo of the school I am working with. That's it. On the back, a vertical line down the center with an address line on what would be the right-hand side, right? Is that right? Or was the left-hand side for postcard? I forget. Now I gotta look it up because I forget. But whichever one the address is supposed to go on, you place the whichever side of the back side the address should go on, which would be the right side. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines or so you place there. Maybe let's put a little a postage stamp square in the top right, so you know this is largely where the postage stamp would go, and you know how much space you have around it. And then you have a postcard that you can send out. You can have them printed up quickly and then sent out rather again quickly for your needs. And it's as far as being personal, it's got your handwriting on it or whoever's making the handwriting. It's professional. It looks like someone actually took time to create this because they did. And it doesn't take that long to do. And the postage for postcards is cheaper than the postage for, forever stamps or other stamps. Not only all that, but on a postcard, I cannot write as much as I would otherwise write in a letter. So I am more inclined to write a postcard than I am a letter. What do you think about this one, Matt? Developing a thank you postcard on Canva branded with your school name.
yeah, I like this. I've actually gone a couple different ways with this one. I don't know if we've actually gone the full way to a postcard with putting the postage on it. If we did, it was a while ago, or just the blank 3x5 card with the school's logo in the front of it and say, "Just want to say thanks," and then you write your note on the back, or even a fold over card. We've done it both ways just to have, flexibility and having a range of different ways that you can deliver. But I do like with the postcard what you were saying about the limited space, because I will get to a point where I'm looking at this rather large empty space and thinking, I got to fill this up. Where we can just get to the point and not have to belabor our time with this, and thus in the future say, "Oh, yeah, got to go through that again," and you just put it off, put it off, put it off. So I do like the smaller space to write.
You can make these very brand appropriate and professional looking by having them printed elsewhere, by the way. And the printing of these could even just be a Walmart printing or a Staples printing. They don't have to be something extremely crazy. Of course, Vistaprint will do this for you too. You doing this yourself is not very difficult. Do it on cardstock. This is not an impossibility. It could even mean that your office staff gets to cut some out, realize this is quite doable and at a not so costly amount either. Number 16 is going to go with number 15. When you have that developed postcard, once a week, send a postcard with your John Hancock on it, your chicken scratch and John Hancock on it, to a stakeholder outside the school. It's easier to write on the internal mail system, whatever you have there. It's a little bit difficult to get that post postcard out and sent. It means so much though. And again, I know it's simple, but that postcard in Thanksgiving, it means a lot. Or just a note of encouragement, whatever it is, that postcard going outside means a lot. And hey, even outside of you, back to somebody within, even sent through the mail system to a teacher, that probably means even a little bit more than the internal mail system. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, we talked about on the last episode about having a calendar of the teachers and their birthdays and making sure that you're on top of that. I would say along with this one, kind of precursor to this one, list out your stakeholders. List out different reasons as to why you should be thanking them and have that kind of as a to-do list that you can just check off and use this as you work through.
Next up, number 17, drop into each classroom once a year. I say class, what I mean is a homeroom, basically. Drop into each homeroom once a year, not necessarily during the homeroom time, but for example, I'm hitting my seventh graders at some point throughout their day. And more so, I'm hitting the teacher. So this might take a little bit of doing. Easier in the elementary if it's a self-contained classroom. But once a year, in every one of your grade levels for each teacher, drop in and read a 20-minute story that you have chosen for that year that you will read, make it age appropriate. So perhaps you have like 2 or 3 different books you pull from, but drop into each classroom, each grade level once a year, reading a 20-minute story and effectively making that teacher go out for a quick coffee with 5 of your dollars. Not 5 of their own dollars, but 5 of your own dollars. In this, yes, we're going to send some of those kids who need a routine into a tailspin, but much like our walk around with the tape dispenser and scissors and whatnot, oh, by the way, go listen to that episode if you haven't heard that one. In so doing, we are garnering so much political capital for ourselves.
Yeah. Now, I do understand that there's going to be some schools with multiple grade homerooms per grade level, and this could be an undertaking. Doesn't mean it has to be an undertaking that isn't shared. You might have others on your administrative staff that'll help do that, but also be mindful that if, let's just say this year I didn't do Mrs. Johnson, I had my elementary principal do Mrs. Johnson, do make sure next year you're getting Mrs. Johnson or something to make sure you are also available. Or if you want to split it between semesters or whatever else. But yeah, show not only your students that you're there and you care, but also your teachers.
I love doing this, not only because the students were excited to see me and usually excited to disrupt the routine, but because it was great to be with the students. It was reminding of why I would at times, after a bad conversation, a negative conversation, a difficult conversation, grab a book and walk into a classroom and say, I got you for 20 minutes, have fun. And it was a decompressing time for me. It made me feel so much better about just what I was called to do in that way. Number 18, call 5 random students down to solicit their opinions on how they feel about the current spiritual standing of the school. Man, there's so much that could go well and so much that could go wrong. But you call 5 middle schoolers down to tell you what they think, they're going to tell you what they think.
Yeah, I have a personal moment in my college career where I was given this kind of an opportunity, and yeah, it's giving the students an opportunity to feel heard. Number one, they get to kind of feel important a little bit because they're like, oh, he wants to know what I think. Not that you're really going to act on it much, maybe, or maybe it is insightful and you can use that. But definitely, you want to create opportunities for students to know that they're heard.
Number 19, buy the office crew some swag that nobody else in the school has and include yourself in that swag purchase. Get something that is just there for you guys. For you, maybe that's 15, maybe it's 3, but in a school setting, how often is it that the faculty are appreciated and the faculty get recognized? Even as the administrator, to some extent, we get that. There's a principal's day, but there's a teacher's week and so on and so forth. The administrative staff often have even less than that. And they also are the ones interacting less with the students and more with the parents. And of those two, one is more likely to have a negative comment when calling in than than the other. So it could be a point of just, again, appreciation, camaraderie, unity, because you're in charge of that unity as well. If you're the head of the school, if you're the leader, the administrator, you're in charge of that too. So get yourself some office specific swag.
Yeah, I love it. It's always easy to just overlook and say, well, the offices, they're included with everybody else, but make them feel special. That's the how that all boils down.
And do be aware, and this happens actually quite a bit. If you are going to make something for the whole school and it says faculty, then don't expect the staff to wear it. Right? You want to make sure that it actually spells out, and vice versa. I'd say that too. As a teacher, I don't want to be just known as staff. I want to be known as faculty, because that's, one of the few things that would be note what I do and who I am. So do be aware of that if possible for you when you are creating these swag items and you are going to label them as faculty or label them as staff. Do so knowingly, do so purposefully. Don't simply do it because it's cheaper or whatnot, if that's ever been a problem for you before. Last up, get a tearaway calendar with one dad joke on it each day.
I was really tempted to tell a joke right then, but I probably shouldn't. That'll get me in trouble. But yeah, you gotta smile. You gotta smile every day. You gotta have something that makes you smile. Maybe dad jokes don't do it for you, but it's gotta be something that's more than just, well, I just want to be encouraged every day. Yes, we do want you to be encouraged, but there's beauty in laughter. Make yourself laugh.
Make yourself laugh, but really, if you do that, what's going to wind up happening is that you're going to wind up sharing that joke across a wide landscape. And when you share that joke, they're going to laugh. It's going to humanize you to others. It's going to, I imagine if I had a joke like that on hand, I'd be popping into the door and just opening the door and saying, "Hey, Ms. Witzke, what's brown and sticky?" or whatever it is that I happen to make a joke about. And in so doing, share that joy, help a teacher out, interrupt a classroom. I get that some of these have interrupted classrooms. That's not necessarily what we always want to be doing, but bear with me. It's fun to do so every now and then, especially the pre-K classroom. So, all right, well, that was 11 through 20. Again, I told you I might, and we're not going to. You need to go listen to the first 10 if you've liked these 11 through 20. Make sure to go listen to the first 10. Share these with somebody. Enjoy them. We're going to move on to our Christian Administrator Spotlight, and today that's going out to Susan Reynolds. Susan Reynolds has stepped up as the interim administrator of Covington Christian School in Indiana. So, Matt, would you please pray for Susan Reynolds today in this interim role?
Father, we lift up Susan to you today, that you would help her as she seeks to take on this role, as they seek to find new leadership for Covington. And I know that's often a daunting task, but I pray that you would just grant her the grace that she needs to walk through this year as she seeks to help the students and faculty, the staff, everyone involved there, to just continue on to seek to grow and to do their best for you, to pray whatever needs Susan may have, that you would meet those within your time, within your will. May she be greatly encouraged in her walk with you. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Folks, thanks for growing with us today.
We want to thank you for listening. We're honored that you spend this time with us each week. Our heart is to bring you practical conversations and resources that really serve you as a Christian school leader. One of the best ways you can help us spread the word is by leaving us a review and sharing the podcast with other Christian school principals you're connected with. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Join the conversation and share any posts that resonate with you. Every share makes a difference in helping more leaders find encouragement and practical tools. And remember, the podcast is just one way we help. We also love serving schools through speaking and workshops. Our keynotes and sessions are designed to give you actionable strategies you can take back to your team and implement right away. If you'd like more details, just send us an email at info@christianprinciplespodcast.com. We'd love to connect. Until next time, thanks for joining us on the Christian Principles Podcast.